Morning. Welcome to this edition of Sunday Over Easy. I wanted to talk a little bit about the vibrational energy of life and how by trying to tune into that and kind of let go of that what we're used to. It's like we're used to we're used to judging things and people on the surface, and we react to those situations by both what we physically perceive and a lot of the conditioning that we had as a child. So a lot of our responses are both a combination of what we're experiencing now, but also that Pavlov response we have as a child to fear, insecurity, doubt, happiness, joy, all that kind of stuff. So one of the biggest things with trying to turn that equation around and sort of let go of the tangible and try to grasp onto the intangible is that vibrational energy. When we're facing difficult times, we want to hold on to what we know, and that idea of I can taste, I can touch, I can see this, those types of things guide us. And the idea of kind of letting go of that and try to find this vibrational energy about life that's guiding us and guiding others and allowing plants to grow and birds to fly and all that stuff. It sounds really nice, when you're talking about it from this relaxed position. But when things get difficult and life is coming at us, man, and we either want to punch somebody in the face or we want to cry. We want to have these, really emotions, and to try to turn it over then, that's what the challenge is. That's the big deal. That's the cup of soup. That's Christ stepping up on the cross and dying for us. That's where we're kind of turning over to a higher power, something more than we know. Because this limited idea of what we know, this kind of creates a lot of times the cage or the prison we create for ourselves that we live in. So that's why it's so important. When we do feel comfortable, when we do feel relaxed, when we do feel not threatened, that we take the time to practice a lot of the things I mentioned. There's lots of people who give lots of different advice, but if we don't take the time to practice that when things are good in our life, when things are okay, we're not going to be able to use it when things aren't okay. And when things are bad, or worse yet, when we get ready to take our last breath, we're going to be filled with fear. And we don't want fear to be guiding us, in any of our situations, especially our last situation. We want to be able to take into that vibrational energy that we come from, And, I talked about quantum physics. People get upset with science because, I believe in God, I don't believe in science. Well, actually, the thing about quantum physics actually proves the existence of God. Quantum physics doesn't call it God, though. It has other names for it, but you think about this word God. We always kind of personalize God. I know God. Somehow by saying the word God, we think we know something that you can't even know. It's something that that we get in touch with by how we act and by how we behave. And that dichotomy of people who are very selfish, uncaring, cruel, and stuff like that, but they believe in God. They have this mental concept of God that is nothing about what God is. And quantum physics has this term called the infinite field of possibilities. That it talks about how thought interacts with that quantum field, and thought is broken down. QP to its simplest form of a lepton and a quark interacting with this infinite field of possibilities. I mean, what better word for God than infinite field of possibilities? What is God? God is everything. God is anything. God is an infinite field of possibilities. I'm sorry, but you know what? If you are stuck on religion and God and you don't see the evidence of that, then your ego is getting in the way of actually trying to let you see something. God's trying to let you see something that's there, but you're too blind on your own perception of reality to let go of that and see it, And that it's kind of like oil and grease sometimes to certain people. It kind of separates a lot of mindsets, but it is what it is, and we're all going to have to come to terms with the idea of this letting go of mind, of thought, of this idea we know. at some point in our life, and hopefully we do it before we die, because if we don't, we're going to go through death with a lot of fear, anxiety, and it's really going to thwart our ability to kind of get to that true, that divinity within us. Words are cheap and meaningless a lot of times, and we got to kind of find the true essence of them. There's this, in the original Star Wars, there's this scene where Luke he's on a mission in the movie to destroy the Death Star, and he's flying his spacecraft along this groove that's gonna, there's a point on this Death Star where if he fires a rocket, it's gonna travel to the center of the Death Star and explode it. And he's got the fighter pilot on autopilot, and Obi-Wan is coming to him and he's saying, Luke, trust the Force. Luke, trust the Force. Luke, trust the Force. If you think about the Force as this vibrational energy that guides us, that gives us the wisdom that we know to handle situations that used to baffle us, Luke decides to take that action. He turns off the autopilot and he lets that force that guide him know when to fire that. That's the same thing that happens in our life, man. When we have the guts to say, you know what, I'm not going to let my emotions control me. I'm not going to let my autonomic nervous system that wants to kick in and wants to make me either run or fight. I'm not going to let these primal, I'm going to trust this force. And that's the fear, man. That's the fear of letting go of what we know and trusting something more than we know, And I can't say it enough, It's like a lot of times we wait to the last minute to try to tune into this, And, we enjoy a life based on good and bad, and we don't look for the bad and the good, and we don't see the bad in the good. We just look at one side of the coin, and there's two sides to the coin. By seeing both sides of the coin, we can kind of see past the coin. We can kind of see this life that is not dictated by other people's impressions of us, of whether we feel like a failure or whether we feel like a success. We kind of let go of that, and letting go of that is not easy because it's kind of ingrained in us. To me, man, that's the broken that we all are. That's the Adam and Eve and the apple, that whole deep inside us, man. We're scared, we're broken, and we don't want to trust something more than it's tangible, more than we know, and we hold on to God with this personal Jesus kind of feeling like, I know this, I know this, I know this. But, we don't know it. We can't know it. We have to let go of what we know and actually to experience it, And that's such a upside down, inside out kind of way of living life that it doesn't make sense to a lot of people that really kind of want to hold on to what they know, So I talk about, knowledge is limited, and I quote Einstein, I quote Seneca, I quote a lot of modern people today who talk about trusting their gut instincts that are very successful in life, and sometimes, when you're just willing to say, you know what, I give up trying to control it. I give up trying to think I know it, or I understand, or I can figure it out, And when we do that, we start to experience something more than what we know. And that failure of our mind, of our saying, you know what, I don't want to think it anymore. I don't want to think the shame. I don't want to think the guilt. I don't want to think the failure. I don't want to think the success that eventually turns into my failure. I don't want to think this way. I want something more. It's kind of usually when we find it, So, knowledge is limited, So, but the thing about knowledge is, knowledge can give us enthusiasm to pursue something with purpose. Knowledge can give us the desire to realize there's something more.